Hey folks, Mark Joyner here. Just a quick casual impromptu video to show you a couple of the ways that the new Simpleology engines feature is going to save you a heck of a lot of time. And also about this new little gizmo over here, which I'll show you in a second. First, let's have a quick recap of the way the basic Simpleology works. This is the way you use the system on a day-to-day basis. And I'm going to show you a way that you can greatly improve on that here in just a couple of seconds. So as you know, you go to your Dreamcatcher and you jot thoughts, ideas, and to-dos in here as they come to mind so that they don't weigh you down and you can get right back to work and just keep on doing what you're doing so you're not distracted. And then the next time you do Start My Day, you sort through those items, deciding which of those things are going to be your daily targets, go into the metal lockbox, go to the delegation station, or any of the other number of really, really cool things that we help you do in Start My Day so you get a really good start to your day and you get a lot more done a lot faster. That's all great. That's still there. But there are a couple of cases where that system is a little more cumbersome than it needs to be. For example, let's say you add something to your Dreamcatcher and you know that you want to put it in your metal lockbox in a particular category, like say, for example, books to read. Or maybe you want to move it right to your daily target. So you know immediately that you want to do it today rather than do it tomorrow. You don't need to think about it anymore. It's urgent. You may as well move it right there. Well, you can't do that with the way the system was before, but now with engines, you can. And you'll be able to do a lot more as well. Let me first explain what engines can do now, and then I'll give you a hint of what is coming with engines. So the basic functionality of engines is like this. When this happens is the first phrase, and then you'll see two other phrases here. Do this to this. When this happens, do this to this. Everything that you'll ever be able to do with engines will always fit that particular formula. Well, over time, we're going to add more conditions that you can pull from this drop-down menu of when this happens, and then more conditions on the do this to this columns as well. For right now, because it's brand new, we have one condition, and that's an item is added to the Dreamcatcher. Now, you notice when you select that, this new stuff pops up. So when this happens, when an item is added to the Dreamcatcher, that starts with, that ends with, or contains this, do this, you can move the item or copy the item to daily targets. I don't know why you'd want to take it to the Dreamcatcher, but it's there. Metal lockbox, stuff I want, major focus, trackers, or lists. Okay, so let me give you an example of one particular way you might want to do this. Let's say you're talking with somebody and they tell you, hey, I've got this really great new book to read. Maybe Ender's Game, right? So when an item is added to the Dreamcatcher that starts with, let me just say, books, right? Then move the item to the metal lockbox. Now you'll see this new thing comes up here under this category. Now you can, of course, customize, add, delete categories as you see fit, but we've got a category here called books to read. And so now we add that engine. And now next time I add something to the Dreamcatcher, it's going to bypass the Dreamcatcher and automatically be moved over to the metal lockbox in that category. Now, this little widget over here is a persistent Dreamcatcher that is going to be persistently visible anywhere you are throughout Simpleology now. So now if you're in your delegation station, for example, and you get an idea, rather than having to navigate over here to daily targets, you just pop this little bad boy out and then start adding stuff in there. So now, if I were to write Ender's Game in here, just like this is going to go right to my daily targets, right? But now if I start the post with books, because I programmed the engine this way, and then I put in catcher in the rye, well, here's the difference. Over here in Dreamcatcher, you'll notice that Ender's Game was added, right? And now you'll notice here, because we started this with books, that now under books to read, catcher in the rye is automatically moved. Pretty awesome, right? Now, there are a lot of different ways you can use this and a lot of other little subtle things that are not readily apparent. Let me give you just a couple of quick ideas here. So remember before we were talking about getting an emergency task, right? So let's just say By the way, you can say it starts with or ends with or contains. You could program this any way. I like to use a phrase that I start something with, because that's the way I like to use it, but you can program that any way you see fit. But let's just say, I start it with DT, right? Then move the item to the daily targets, add. So now you'll notice that when I go over here, I write, DT, write book. It's no longer in the Dreamcatcher. It was automatically moved over to the daily targets list down here at the bottom, write book. Now here's another thing that you can do with engines that's not really readily apparent. When you add something to the mental lockbox with an engine shortcut of some sort, you now can specify a date for that particular item. So let's just say I write books and then I write 3/4/2012. Now you can write this in any order that you want, but this is going to default to the American convention of showing the month, the day in that order. Now you could write it 2012/3/4, but because it's the American convention, it's going to be March 4th and not April 3rd. Just so you know. Now I can write, any other book that I want in there. Let's just say, I don't know what the sequel to Ender's Game is. I haven't read it, but let's just say Ender's Game sequel. Now check it out. Go over to the mental lockbox, and under books to read, that item is there now with a reminder date. So now this is a date in the past, so obviously a nonsense date, but the next time you do start my day on that date where you've set a reminder, this is going to come up so that you think about it. Now these reminders are really, really useful. You could put, you could have a category here of birthdays, and if you created an engine for that, let's just say you're the kind of person who, meets a lot of people with birthdays, and then you could just put, B-Day, then move the item to the mental lockbox under the category birthdays. So let's say you meet somebody and they tell you what their birthday is. Now maybe you're a sales professional who likes to remember people's birthdays, or maybe you just have a lot of friends. So now you can write B-Day, and then you write you'd put an actual year on it so that you get reminded next year, and then we could say it's 8/2/2012. So this would be August 2nd, 2012. So Joe Sassafras. Now that item is going to be added to the birthdays category with the reminder date. So when I do start my day on that day, I'll have the reminder here that it's that person's birthday, and I can give myself, a task to call them up or send them a Facebook message or whatever. Okay, that's it. We're going to be adding a lot of new features and a lot of new functionality to engines over time. We really want to hear your feedback. Are there conditions that you would like to see added right away? Are there any improvements that we can add to this to make it smoother and faster? This is one of many new, really, really interesting features that we're going to be releasing to you over the coming weeks and months. And we want this to be an evolutionary conversation with you. While we have a very clear idea in mind of how we want this to develop, this is also to a large degree based on your feedback. So use the suggestion box tool that we have here. That will send you to a place where you can suggest and vote on new features. Respond to the blog post for this particular new feature and give us your thoughts. We are constantly looking at your feedback, your suggestions, and analyzing that and incorporating it into what we do. So please keep that coming. We really enjoy it, and we hope this helps you get more done faster and faster for you and everyone you love. All right, thank you.